Alright, so today's Friday, February 2nd. So it's you can see it's 6:42 a.m. We're gonna change out a compressor, 3.5 ton compressor, and a cap tube assembly on this Rheem package unit up on the roof. So let me just turn that on. So what we're gonna do, let's see what we got going here. So we got to get all our stuff up to that roof. We got a ladder right here on the corner of the building. So I got to get all my stuff out, and I'll turn the camera back on. All right. So far this is only the stuff that I'm gonna rope up first. You know, yes, I still need my vacuum pump and refrigerant. But I'm not worrying about that right now because I just want to get the compressor in. You know, all the tools needed to do compressor and cap tube assembly, dryer, acid away, and stuff like that. Once I have it under a nitrogen test, then I'll come down, get my refrigerant and stuff like that. But to save time, you don't want to spend time bringing all that up. You got to give it 20-30 minutes under your nitrogen pressure test. Anyway, so we're gonna get all this up to the roof, and so my plan is to drop the hook down like this and hook the items, you know, from up top. So all right, so just to save time, a little tip. But we got the compressor unwelded. You can see right here where it blew a terminal, so it lost the charge. Got oil on it. So I cut the cap tube assembly for this circuit. Now we're gonna go ahead and unsolder them, or Man, look at this oil. Alright, so now we're gonna unsolder. I already made sure, you know, I confirmed my circuits. Obviously, there's no gas came out when I cut it, so I know I'm on the right one. But so with this, when you unsolder it, I'll do this one. You can see you don't want to heat the cap tube part because you're going to weaken it. When you pull it, it's going to break. So you want to heat that joint really good and just pull it out like that. Alright, you don't need a crazy flame or anything. You have to remember you have to point the torch away from the other tubing because the other circuit has refrigerant, you know, it's live. So anytime you're working on this multi-circuit coil, you have to be careful with that. I'm trying not to make too much smoke because it can go downstairs in the office space. It's gonna go in here. Trash bin. Alright, so now we got the new distributor right here. So we're gonna fit this up right up in here. Bam. I'm gonna zip tie that. like that. Alright, now that high, but it's actually pretty high. I'll let you see over the edge. I gotta rope up this compressor. See the compressor down there. This is a pretty high roof, but I'm gonna get this up and then I'll check you out. Sportland, pretty much Sportland's like the only filter dryer that I see that the plugs are actually tight, and when you pull them off you hear a little boop, or you know, like a little vacuum break. The Emerson dryers, the caps are always loose. I don't really use what's this other brand, Danfoss. I don't really use their stuff too much, but so I usually go with the Sportland dryers. So I got the nitrogen going. You can probably, so you can hear it's purging a little nitrogen through. I didn't open up the compressor because I like to, since the POE is very hydroscopic, I'll open that at the end, right when I braze it in. So alright, I'm gonna put this on there just so I could see. We're gonna try to tilt it to the side just so I could see that joint. So you want a nice hot flame. Bring it right up to the top. Before I go ahead and raise it up, I want to make sure it looks good enough. Alright, that looks good to me. Alright. I like a nice hot flame. That way you get in, get your joint done, and you know, get out. So I like to heat the rod first, you know, the insert pipe first. View. Alright. That looks good. A lot of people, when they braze, they just cap the joint, but then you get a lot of leaks that way. So what you want to do is let it flow down in the joint. That way you know you got a nice thing. So so now we're set up. I'm gonna get this baby on there like that. Alright, so you don't really want a hot flame on this, because then you're gonna make the solder real liquidy. Oh man, my acetylene running out. I'm gonna have to get a refill downstairs. I gotta go down and get a refill. That sucks, but it is what it is. I'll get the refill. Alright, got the new tank in, tightened down. A tip is, a lot of people use their regular service wrench. Sometimes it's a pain, you know, maybe you're up in the attic, your tool bag's downstairs, you forget it. So I just got a little piece of chain, and my old service wrench is kind of designated to this, you know, and it just kind of hangs in there. It's nice when you get one with a knob, but unfortunately they all don't come with a knob. So I got a little situation. I can't do too much more brazing videoing because this is my spare tank. Is pretty much empty, so I'm screwed. I might have to go get a tank, but I just want to show you a few things. Take the plug out. I usually keep these plugs, I don't store them, but I just put them in the old compressor to seal it. This right here, I'm gonna braze this out here because I don't want to mess around with my brazing in the unit too much since I'm low. Alright, like that. Got the plugs in. Then after, I'll lean it back and squirt my acid scavenger into the suction before I put it in. Alright. Alright, so I pressurized 153 psi. It's 9:03 a.m. So I'll let it sit about 30 minutes. I'm going to change out the contactor and try to clean this up a little bit and bolt down the compressor. And while we let it, you know, the pressure to sit. Alright, so these are the plugs. You just stick them in there like that. Suction goes all the way, and this one sometimes has an issue. You could push it in. You don't want nothing pointy, or else you're gonna pop through the bushing thing, the plug. So we're gonna throw this away, put on a new plug. But just trying to give as many tips, you know, as I go along that I see. So yeah, I thought I was gonna have to go get some acetylene. My spare that was given to me at the supply house some time back was empty, but I had just enough to get the job done. So I'm gonna clean this up. Alright, now it's 9:42. Before it was 9:03 at 153. So it's been about 40 minutes and it's still at 153.2 and 154 psi. So it looks like there's no leaks. Checked all the joints with bubble solution, and it seems to be holding pressure. Another good trick is, okay, so this is an aftermarket compressor. It's from the Rheem distributor, which in my area is Rheem A. So I put today's date, I put the invoice number on the compressor. Rheem A is where I got it from. 1 year warranty. I'm gonna fill it back with R22. I'm not gonna put 407C. I do have a sticker. I'll get the sticker when I go down to get my refrigerant. This way, if this compressor fails, say in 6 months, it has warranty, you're not gonna know where you got it from, or you're not gonna remember, or you have to look through the invoice and find the paperwork. But this way, has the invoice number, you call them, give them the invoice number, and they'll pull it up. So usually like motors or anything with warranty, like pricey like that, I would put the invoice number on with the date, and where you got it from. Unless you know the L, that formula goes to Rheem A. But got a new contactor. You know, got the new filter dryer in there. I'll button this up. I gotta clean up these cap tubes, make it look nice, and stuff like that. All right. So I started weighing in the charge. I turned on the disconnect. I disconnected my R wire, so that way it doesn't turn the unit on, because with a scroll you got to make sure it spins in the right rotation. So if it's spinning backwards, it's going to make grinding kind of noise. Your amperage will be lower than normal, and also your pressures are not really gonna your suction is not going to drop in your head pressure. They're going to kind of somewhat stay equalized. So I just wanted to kick on so I could test it out. So it sounds pretty smooth, and my pressures drop. So alright, so our outdoor temperature is like 77 degrees. So 77. As the sun comes out, it'll go back up, and then it'll come back down. So we're gonna get our split. Our return is 73 so far, but 77. So we're gonna look at the charging chart. This is for circuit number 1, and that's what we're working on. That's the one we changed the compressor. So the charging chart, measure the pressure at the compressor, suction and liquid, measure outdoor ambient to unit. We got it, that's 77 degrees. Place X on chart where suction and liquid intersect. If X is below the outdoor ambient line, add charge and repeat. Okay, so we're at 77 degrees. Our pressures look pretty well. It's 61 over 200, 201. So it's like 61 over 200. So here's 85. So 80 will be in the middle. So 77 is about right here. So it's gonna be a little bit above this black line. So now if we go 61 up to 200 is right here. Circuit 2 is hanging right around the same thing. So I'm gonna leave it right there because it's running a low suction.